Now, Tamara, let's get back to the issue we were talking about with Senator Roberts off the top, and that is this alleged birth certificate that supposedly, at least according to birthers, shows President Obama was born in Kenya. And joining us now from Tel Aviv is Orly Taitz. She's the attorney for the birther movement who just released this document. Orly, we went through and explained all the things that are wrong about the document, but I want to start with something else, and that is, first of all, the birth announcement in Hawaii. There were two of them, August 13th in the Honolulu Advertiser, August 14th in the Hawaii Star Bulletin, announcing the birth of Barack Obama. How could these birth announcements have been fabricated 48 years before President Obama possibly took office?
Absolutely.
How would they have the foresight to know that?
I just need to know how much time do I have. I had bad experience in CNN with Kitty Pilgrim, where
well, if you just answer my question, we'll give you plenty of time. But answer the question.
Okay.
Fine, but answer the question about.
In Hawaii, the way announcements were made in the newspapers, they had two types of birth certificates, and that's why we're demanding to see the original. One was a proper birth certificate from the hospital. Another was a birth certificate issued based on a statement of one relative only. It could be a grandmother or a mother.
That's fine, but Orly, you haven't answered my question. You haven't answered my question. What would be the motivation? What would be the motivation for Barack Obama's family?
If you're talking. Okay, you need to show some decency and integrity as a journalist. You need to give me an opportunity to explain. I cannot say.
Okay, Orly, you can talk about integrity and discipline. Go for it.
So there were two types of birth certificates. One, proper birth certificate from hospital. Another that came from a parent. As a matter of fact, a parent could have just filled out a form and lied. If Obama was born in Kenya and the mother wanted to lie and she didn't want to go through immigration, she didn't want to pay immigration attorney, she would fill out the form saying, my son was born in Honolulu, mail it or bring it to the health department. They take all of those birth certificates.
I get your point, but just so we're clear, so your allegation, Orly, your allegation here is that Barack Obama's family was somehow motivated to lie to Hawaii officials, including Orly. You got to give me a second here. I just want to understand.
Don't let me finish. No, I don't, because you are unable to listen. I didn't even get to the newspapers. Let me explain. Your listeners need to know the truth. They're sick of the lies coming from the mainstream media. 85% of American citizens are saying Obama was not vetted. He needs to be vetted. He needs to provide original birth certificates. The only one that are on the fringe are Obama's brown shirts in the media that insult people and would not let them speak out the truth.
Obama's brown shirts. You're referring to. You're making a reference, Orly, to Nazi Germany and to a lot of us who lost relatives in the Holocaust. That is deeply offensive. Your behavior is the offenses. You and Tamron Hall are behaving in an offensive manner. You're calling people names and you would not listen. You just called me names. You said this is a crazy movement. The only ones that are crazy that are listening to Obama's lies and would not listen to the word of truth. When the birth certificates were issued, they would go to a news agency in Hawaii News Agency, the proper ones, plus ones that were obtained based on a statement of one relative that could have been lying because she didn't want to pay for the immigration. All of them went to Hawaiian News Agency, which sent it to two newspapers, and that's how those announcements were obtained.
Okay, Orly, let me ask you quickly.
Therefore,
Orly, we've been fair and we've given you time, and I just want to ask you here. Hang on. Let's not go there. Ann Coulter, a popular with the right, says that this is foolishness and has called this a movement, which you find. Come on. And has called this foolishness and has referred to the birthers as cranks. What's your response to those who see you now? You're emotional, and I understand you believe this, but those who say you're crazy, that this is cranks, and that it is scary. What's your response?
Okay, I've heard you. Okay, all I hear from mainstream media are dumb insults. That's what you're providing.
Ann Coulter is not mainstream. She hates the mainstream.
Let me answer. If you don't let people speak up the truth will come out.
You've got 3 seconds, and we're going to have to respectfully end this.
And people like you,
go ahead.
Because Obama's birth certificate
certificate does not show the name of the hospital,
Ann
does
Coulter
not show the
says
name
you're
of the
crank.
doctor.
Carl Rose says this is a forgery. Answer that or we're done.
I'm telling you, listen, you will be done. You will
Ann
not
Coulter
be on
says
TV
you're
for too
crank.
long. Yeah, I don't care about Ann Coulter. What is important is that Obama has numerous social security numbers, and one of them is a social security
Orly,
number.
maybe we can get to your motivation with another question. Let me try one other. Orly, let me try one other that may get to your motivation. Is it true that while NBC offered you a car to take you to the studio there, that you refused because it was a Muslim-sounding name with the driver?
No, it's not true. And let me go back to Obama, which is very important. Obama is completely illegitimate for U.S. presidency for two reasons. Not only because he did not provide the place of his birth, but also because both parents have to be U.S. citizens. His father was never a U.S. citizen. He was in the United States on a student visa.
Okay,
and
Orly, you've repeated yourself, and you're starting to repeat yourself. And we can't let you go on if you're not going to answer the question. So with great... Listen, with great patience, we've offered you this opportunity.
No,
Thank you,
never
Orly.
showed any patience.
Okay. You don't understand how much patience we've offered you. Orly, thank you very much. Thank you, Orly. So, David, moving on from this. Okay, let's regroup here. Because people are wondering why we are covering this. And we're getting Twitters who are saying that we're obsessed with this. We're not. This is a movement. You see the polls out there. And when this portion of the American population have been led to believe by Orly and others that the president is a fake, is a fraud, I think it is critical, especially when you say, and many people believe, David, that this is fueled by racism or whatever the case may be. But for those people who are part of the birther movement and who choose to follow Orly, just TiVo or rewind what you just saw. And I think that answers a lot.
Well, and Tamara, the other point is look, there's a journalistic responsibility. We have to look and see whether the stuff is true. We did that.
Yes.
Obama was born in Hawaii. The proof is there. So in any case.